Abraham Lincoln once said, "I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place is proud of him." Hello parents, teachers, judges, and fellow contestants. My name is Janelle Smith, and I care about our country. Our country deserves freedom and civil rights. And you know why? Because each and every single one of us works hard to keep it. And if one day, if they take it away from us, our country will reunite to come and take it back. Americans have gone to war to win our independence, expand our national boundaries, define our freedoms, and defend our interests around the globe. The American Revolutionary War. It began as a war between the Kingdom of Britain and the 13 colonies, but grew into a world war. And after the war, America's independence was achieved. A wider international peace was agreed. Slavery existed in the United States of America. Slavery was recognized in the 13 colonies at the time of Declaration of Independence in 1776. In the United States of America, it was separated into free states and slavery states along the Mason-Dixie line, which separated Maryland, which had slavery, and Pennsylvania, which was free. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States and was also one of the greatest presidents. And his goal was to reunite the nation. So he ended slavery in the Civil War. In the United States of America, we have freedom and civil rights. On December 1st, in 1955 in Alabama, Rosa Parks refused to obey the bus driver, who ordered that she give up her seat to a white passenger, but did not, so she had gotten arrested. And ever since then, the boycott became very important symbols of the modern civil rights movement. Martin Luther King Jr. once had a speech called "I Have a Dream" speech. And in that speech, he said, "I hope that one day the black kids and the white kids will become friends." And today, in the 24th century, that dream has come true. The American Revolutionary War, slavery, and Martin Luther King Jr. was the price of freedom and civil rights. This speech shows that the events that happened in the past help reach our goal to what we have today. And that is why I am proud to call myself an American. I believe we deserve freedom and civil rights. And you should believe it too. Thank you.
What is a hero? Do all heroes have superpowers or a cape? Well, as stated by Ralph Waldo Emerson, a hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is braver 5 minutes longer. In my opinion, heroes should be known for what deeds they do, not by what color tights they wear. Anyone could be a hero, but does everyone have the courage, dedication, and admiration to stick around when the going gets tough? An admirable individual is someone we admire, but the reasons we admire them are for the bravery they show in their actions. Gabby Giffords is definitely someone I admire. She's devoted her life to speaking and has encountered all the dangers that come with it. January 8th, 2011, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords was shot in the head while attending a Congress on the Corner. She has just recently made a full recovery by letting everyone know she's regained feeling in her right arm back. Furthermore, you don't have to be injured to show bravery. There are many people who could be admiring just because they want to help people out of the kindness of their hearts, such as doctors and nurses who are dedicated to their work. You can see why I'm convinced these are the real heroes, the ones that we should look up to. Now, what is the difference between a patriot and a dedicated patriot? Well, the answer is simple. A patriot that's dedicated is loyal to his or her country no matter what. The dedicated patriots are the ones that don't rely on their country relies on them. A dedicated patriot could be local people around you, such as policemen catching bad guys or firefighters getting your cat out of a tree. Dedicated patriots are devoted individuals who make America an easier place for us to live in. Every day, dedicated patriots show their heroism in their deeds and actions. Finally, it is my belief that there is only one type of soldier. That is one who will do anything for the freedom of our country. For instance, Purple Heart soldiers show bravery because they have all been wounded in battle some way fighting for our country. A soldier is a walking hero in the flesh, and he won't rest until he knows our country is and always will be free. In short, if you put your mind to it, anyone can be a hero. But does everyone have the bravery, devotion, and admiration to stay the extra 5 minutes like Ralph Waldo Emerson was talking about when he said, "A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is braver 5 minutes longer"? If that's so, I encourage you to do what others are afraid to. Others who are so afraid of taking risks and being different that they miss all the great things others have done for their country. So go out and be a hero. Put on that cape, that mask. Gather your superpowers and take that leap to show the world what a true hero is. Thank you.
Hello, teachers, judges, and my fellow contestants. I'm sorry that I had but one life to give for my country. This shows that to be one of the founding fathers of our country, you had to have pride, but most of all, you had to be committed. Because if you were going to die, would your last words be, "If I could, I would die again for my country"? Probably not. My name is Cole Goodwin. What would your last words be? Think about it. If when you die, the only regret, the only thing you wish you could have done better is that you could die again, you're probably a patriot, or you're just really proud. But if you can have more pride in your last words than Nathan Hale did when he said his, they might write a speech like this about you someday. I know it may not be true for me. I may not want to die twice for America, or I simply just may not want to die twice at all. But should that stop you? No, that should inspire you to be the best you can be for the greatest country in the history of the world, America. I don't know about you, but I'm proud to be a living, breathing, dreaming American. So let these words inspire you, or just let them be words. But remember, you don't have to be in the Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, or even the Air Force to be a patriot. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, or even your state of mind. To be a patriot, all you have to do is want to be a patriot. Nathan Hale said these words right before being hung. He was spying on the British. He was only 15 years old. 15. This shows he had to work his whole life. He worked all the way to the very last couple of words of it for what he wanted most. I am sorry that I have but one life to give for my country. Are you? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you a question. How do you describe America? Most people simply describe America as a free country. I have a different description, maybe one you haven't thought before. I describe America as a house with a strong foundation, sturdy walls, and a thick roof. This is why. Harry S. Truman said, "America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and on the unbeatable determination to finish the job at hand." When he said this, his reference to determination made me think of our determination to break away from England and become our own country. Speaking of courage puts the thought of us bravely going against the British,
even when we were outnumbered, into my head. It took a lot of imagination to envision a whole new country. Today, we follow the same tradition of courage, imagination, and determination. First, we have our foundation of courage. Courage is represented by the soldiers who protect us today. They represent courage when they put their lives on the line for their country with their own free will. Just as the foundation of a house must be firm and steady, so must be the courage and willingness to defend our country. Next are the walls. The citizens of America are the walls. Our citizens make us great, and we have a tradition of promoting creativity and imagination. One example, of course, is technology. We have had many Americans make contributions in technology, such as Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, George Washington Carver, or Steve Jobs, just to name a few. Kids are young adults who will grow up to continue making the walls. Take away the people or stop promoting creativity, and America isn't a working country. Take away the walls of a house, and it will fall and crumble. Last is our roof. Our roof is made out of our determination and success. We succeeded in fulfilling the dream of a land with liberty and justice for all. With determination, we created a strong country, made a democracy, maintained a great government, and have freedom unto all people. Our determination tops it all off like a roof tops off a house. In conclusion, the house of America won't fall. America is a strong country. I describe America as a house with a strong foundation of courage, sturdy walls of imagination, and a thick roof of determination. How do you describe America?
I feel that all people should stand up for themselves at least once in their life. Americans should always stand for the stars and stripes and say the allegiance for our flag. When showing great care for America, Joe Barton made a great speech that was very powerful and meaningful. Our flag honors those who have fought to protect it and is a reminder of the sacrifice of America's founders and heroes. As the ultimate icon of America's storied history, the Stars and Stripes represents the very best of our nation. That was Joe Barton's words for America that have shown always patriotic patriotism. It takes a lot of wording like that about the flag to make me want to talk about Joe Barton. He most of all talked about the flag. I would like to tell you that the United States flag has actually been around since 1776. The American flag is a very special flag to almost everyone in the 50 states. Think about it. Were you born in one of the 50 states? Do you think about what it takes to be an American? I know a lot about this flag. This country actually has lots of pride, passion, love, history, and good quality. By all these great things about America, I think about the Stars and Stripes. The stars not only represent the 50 states, but to me, that stands for each person who truly believes in America. The stripes don't always represent the 13 colonies, but the love and the sacrifice that people have shown for this flag, and of course, America. Looking at our flag, we think of our presidents, soldiers, and the stories of this flag, like Civil War, Man on the Moon, and also 9/11. This flag, this nation, has all these stories that America can't even fathom. Thank you.
As Harry S. Truman once said, America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. Harry did not write this quote just to be a famous quote writer. He wrote this for each and every one of you, never to feel bad about your country. Personally, what this quote means to me is if something happens in America, don't fear it, embrace it. With the courage of us Americans, we can come together and keep moving forward. For example, 9/11. We stuck it together through those hard times. Yes, many loved ones got hurt along the way, but we just got the courage to just keep moving forward. Another way we get courage is trying something new, like running for president. I bet most of the presidents were nervous to run for office, but they tried something new, and look what they've done for our amazing country. Imagination. Imagination means to go outside the box, beyond the horizon to do something great, like Benjamin Franklin. How do you think he got the idea to put a key on a kite and have it get struck by lightning? Imagination, that's how. What about technology? Can you even imagine life without technology? I know I can't, but how do we communicate with people far away? How do we contact someone if we're lost and we can't find our way back home? Determination. What does that mean? Determination means is as soon as you start something, you never stop until you finish it. Like on January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln said, "All slaves in states in rebellion against the Union shall be thenceforward and forever free," also known as the Emancipation Proclamation. I'll give you a second to think if Abraham Lincoln did not say those words and did not free the slaves. Pretty different world, right? What if the Statue of Liberty was never built? We wouldn't have something so big to resemble our freedom. But don't you think the people building the Statue of Liberty were tired and wanted to give up? Sure, I bet some did give up, but some were determined and just stuck to it. In conclusion, this country has so much determination, so embrace it. Courage is what it takes to get up and try something new. Imagination is just a step away from doing this country a better hand. America is not that country to fear. It's actually that country to embrace. So, I leave you with what I started today. America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. Harry S. Truman, thank you.
Welcome, parents, judges, teachers, and fellow contestants. My name is Mackenzie Adams. Before we start, I have a question to ask you. What makes you proud to be an American? I can name hundreds of things, but several individuals stand out in the eyes of Americans. You want to know who is patriotic? Rosa Parks. She went through racism her whole life. Then finally, she was sick of it. The driver threatened Parks. He told her he would call the police. Still, Parks refused because she knew America needed to change. Rosa went to jail shortly after the bus driver called the police. What would America be today without Rosa Parks? If you don't think Rosa Parks is patriotic, then I don't know what is. My next topic for today is Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream, he said in a speech he gave March 1963. All he wanted was equality. Fight, bomb, they said. King did not want to use violence because he knew it was not what God wanted him to do. King was an amazing man, but unfortunately he lost his life on April 4th, 1968, at age 39. Martin Luther King Jr. will never be forgotten. My last topic for today are the brave soldiers of America. Soldiers risk their lives every day to fight for our freedom. Soldiers are kind and helpful because right now they are in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was just at war and their entire home was destroyed. The soldiers are bringing them fresh water. They are also building hospitals for the unfortunate. Better yet, they're building schools for the children. Soldiers have so much compassion in war, they're willing to help other countries in time of need. The last and probably most important thing about our American soldiers is they gave us freedom. Freedom to be whatever we want to be. Soldiers make us proud Americans. In conclusion, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and our brave American soldiers are true patriots. They gave us freedom, compassion, and liberty. All of these people make me proud to be an American. These are only some patriots. And so, my fellow Americans, ask yourself, are you proud to be an American? Thank you. Welcome, judges, fellow contestants, and guests. My name is Kristen Haverluck, and today I would like to discuss with you a quote by Abraham Lincoln. President Lincoln once said, "I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place be proud of him." A good example of this quote is anyone who has served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. They serve their country because they are proud of where they live, and we are proud of them for serving our country. I come from a long line of family members who have served our country, and they are all veterans of foreign wars. And because of that, my family members are proud of what they did. Abraham Lincoln was our 16th president, and in my opinion, he was one of our greatest leaders. He showed patriotism a little differently. President Lincoln showed a great deal of patriotism when the Civil War started in 1861 by reminding us of our forefather who came 77 years before his time. This filled many Americans with patriotism and made them feel safe, while others in the South, not so much. So, you're probably thinking, how could the quote be better for us? Well, it should make you feel better about the country you're proud to live in. You have privileges and freedom. In other countries, people don't get free educations or get good jobs, and most of all, have freedom. But Abraham Lincoln didn't stop what he was doing. He wanted everyone to feel and believe the way he and our forefathers did, so he gave brilliant speeches, helped out, and always loved his country no matter what happened. While he kept trying, some Americans still didn't like his ideas. On April 15, 1865, a man named John Wilkes Booth assassinated Lincoln at Ford Theater. John never liked Lincoln, and John did not show patriotism. But after Abraham Lincoln passed away, everyone was inspired by his thoughts and ideas, and still today, everyone is talking about how patriotic he was. Now, I have talked about Abraham Lincoln's quote. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place be proud of him. I hope that I remind you what a great patriot Lincoln was, and that all of us as Americans should be proud of the place in which we live. So I hope that I can leave you with one question. What can you do to make your neighborhood, your state, and even your country be proud of you? Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think it's okay for young people to feel patriotic? I do, because not only do adults have opinions, so do kids. Rosa Parks had her very own opinion too, and helped to make it more than just an opinion. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks boarded the Montgomery City bus to go back home from her work as a seamstress. She was a 45-year-old woman and very patriotic. She also stood up for what was right, even though it would cause her trouble. Do you think you could do the same? Could you bravely risk your life like Rosa Parks did? She sat in the middle of the bus behind the 10 bus seats reserved for the whites, but soon the bus was full when a white man entered. The bus driver insisted that the 4 African Americans gave up their seats. Everyone got off except for one African American. One amazing woman, Rosa Parks, did not give up her seat. Why should she? I personally think what she did was right, but apparently other people did not. She said, "When I first made that decision, I had the strength of my ancestors with me." She was arrested and convicted for violating the laws of segregation, also known as the Jim Crow laws. At the same time, civil rights activists initiated a boycott of the Montgomery bus system, which Martin Luther King was in. All around the world, the Montgomery bus system is known for the Rosa Parks incident. She said the famous quote, "I've learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear." She has written many quotes, but I think this one really speaks to me because it tells you when something wrong happens, don't let it get you afraid. I think Rosa Parks is a great role model. I hope you think so too. Thank you.
Thousands of men and women today are fighting and risking their lives for our freedom. And by giving our thanks, we should show patriotism towards our country. The actual definition of patriotism says a love of and devotion to one's country. I believe patriotism consists not in just waving the flag, but within your emotions towards your country. I understand that some people don't like what their president is doing, but that allows us to explore a little. Like C. Joybell C. said, we can't be afraid of change. You may feel very secure in the pond that you're in, but if you never venture out of it, you will never know there's such a thing as an ocean, a sea. Holding on to something that is good for you now may be the very reason why you don't have something better. This quote inspires me because the willingness and affection that states, like my mom always says to me, still to this day, you'll never know until you try it. And if we don't like it, then we can always find ways to improve our country. But just don't walk out of it. Like John Dixon once said, join hand in hand, brave Americans all. By united we stand, by dividing we fall. So you can't just walk out of it. You have to stand your ground and hold on to what's most important in your life, like your family, your friends, your kids, and also your country. Perhaps one of John F. Kennedy's most famous quotes says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Our country is already doing the best thing it can for us, providing us with freedom. Imagine you're in a communist country or dictatorship where you're told what to read, what to study, and even what you should believe in. I may not be old enough to vote or join the Air Force, but I still can show my patriotism. I can always go wave a flag or wear a t-shirt, but I believe that doesn't express true patriotism. True patriotism is, well, what I'm doing now, practicing my freedom of speech, my freedom of press, and my freedom of religion. Freedom allows us to believe, say, or do whatever we think is right. Patriotism will always be the love of the country that provides that freedom. Thank you.
Why am I proud to be an American? Why are all of us proud to be Americans? These are questions that all of us ask ourselves at least once in our life. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, parents and administrators. My name is Caitlin Freeman, and I am here to answer those questions. I'd like to start with a quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes. One flag, one land, one heart, one hand, one nation evermore. What does this quote mean? It means that as Americans, we stand together as one. This is one reason that I am proud to be an American. How does America show we're proud? Take our soldiers, for example. They leave their loved ones, fight with nothing but a gun in their hands, and only have hard ground to sleep on. They risk their lives to defend our country every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to fight for our country. You can do other things as well. Start with saying and thinking about the pledge every day. As I was reading over my speech, I realized that I too was not truly thinking about what I was saying in those powerful words of the pledge. As one of my main goals to become a better patriot this year, I'm going to truly think about what I'm saying as I put my hand over my heart and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, you can do other things besides saying the pledge. You could support our troops, help the homeless, or just talk to someone who's lonely. There are millions of ways to show that we are proud to be Americans. As I was reading the quote by Mr. Holmes, something really stood out for me. One hand. What does this mean? I decided to do a little research. I found out that it was more than working together, it is also helping each other. Another word is service. Service like giving some of our resources to those who aren't as lucky. Service like donating money to charity. Service like going onto the battlefield and raising that flag for the country you love. As a lot of us already know, 9/11 was a tragic day for a lot of our U.S. citizens. When people were running out, our civil servants were running in. Knowing that they might not make it out alive, feeling the earth tremble beneath them, they fought their one last fight for their country. After that horrible attack, today, people still honor those civil servants and citizens who died. Isn't this all an act of service? If I was not proud to be an American, I would not be standing before you today, in the great land of the free. What makes you proud to be an American? Think about it. Do something amazing today. My name is Caitlin Freeman, and I am proud to be an American. Thank you.
How do you show patriotism? What does it mean to you? Love? Devotion? Freedom? Patriotism is what comes from the heart and how you decide to use it to make a change in our nation. Good morning. My name is Evan Argenwright, and I believe that true patriotism is being willing to go the extra mile and fight for what you believe is right, no matter the cost and no matter how long it takes. That's how America moves forward. It is no different for the civil rights of our country. A true patriot isn't he who is strong as can be, or he who has domination over others. The true patriot stands in defiance against those who would oppose him to achieve what he believes in. I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being. This quote was given by Jackie Robinson, the first black man to play in Major League Baseball, who demonstrated his patriotism through his perseverance of just wanting to play great ball and to share his dream of equality through an all-American sport. Jackie demonstrated courage and perseverance through adversity. Citizens of his own country threatened his life merely for the color of his skin, regardless of his amazing athletic ability. He did not give in, and he did not give up. Jackie Robinson was a patriot among us. The courage to do and say the right thing when no one else will comes from deep within our hearts. Ruby Bridges possesses the same type of courage. She found the courage at age 6 to change our nation forever, and was one of the first black children to attend an all-white school in the South. Imagine, every day being constantly harassed with death threats. This was what Ruby went through. Ruby was an American, and the people threatening her were fellow Americans, but she faced them with courage and perseverance to fulfill her right to a quality education. Although Jackie and Ruby didn't know each other, they faced similar challenges. They fought for equality and righteousness for African Americans, and they strove to achieve their rights as American citizens. What side of the line would you stand? Would you be the one yelling, "Negro, we don't want you here"? Or would you be cheering for the success of these brave patriots? The fight for equal freedom has brought forth courageous patriots who fought for the dream of the American civilization, a dream that forever impacted our nation. Jackie Robinson and Ruby Bridges sparked a fire of patriotism that forever changed history. Ruby Bridges once said, "May the bridges I burn today light the way for a better tomorrow." What bridges are you willing to burn to better our tomorrow? Thank you.
Fellow students, parents, teachers, and judges, my name is Emily Selowicki. I'm speaking to you today to tell you about a very inspiring quote that our 37th President Richard Nixon said. We must always remember that America is a great nation today, not because of what government did for people, but because what people did for themselves and for one another. When I think of Americans who have shown true patriotism, several people come to mind. These people are Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., and Abraham Lincoln. Other people include Theodore Roosevelt and people in the military. One of the reasons Harriet Tubman has proven this quote true is that she helped more than 300 slaves escape through the Underground Railroad. Freedom for herself was not enough. She could have fled to the north, but she kept going back to the south. She's a heroic woman who lives on as an inspiration to all Americans. Martin Luther King Jr. is another great American who's an example of true patriotism. He brought to the attention of the world how unfairly African Americans were treated. His work put a stop to keeping people of different backgrounds apart. Martin Luther King Jr. sacrificed his own life so that all African American people could have the same opportunities as other American citizens. Another patriot that comes to mind is the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. He led the nation through the American Civil War. He also signed the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves. Lincoln believed in the dignity of all men and women, regardless of the color of their skin. In addition to the three people I just mentioned, there's a group of people who can be defined as the ultimate example of patriotism. People in the military enlist so they can stand up for what they believe in. They risk their lives protecting others and their rights. The last patriot I will tell you about today is our 26th President, Theodore Roosevelt. He can be defined as a true patriot because he is the founder of our national park system. With him doing this, he was preserving our beautiful country for future generations. In conclusion, Richard Nixon's quote, "We must always remember that America is a great nation today, not because of what government did for people, but because of what people did for themselves and for one another," should be taken to heart. People should always try to do right things for others and themselves. Whether you stand up for freedom, civil rights, or preserving our beautiful country, we all play a part. Thank you.
Good morning, judges, families, and fellow contestants. To me, a patriot is a person who has commitment of heart, selflessness of spirit, and courageousness of character. 150 years ago, President Lincoln declared a military honor to be bestowed onto American patriots who acted courageously during the Civil War. This award is called the Medal of Honor. Ever since, presidents have granted this great tribute to American patriots every day. I know of a man named William D. Swenson. I bet you have never heard of him. Hollywood has never made a movie about his life. No popular performer sings a song about him, and he has not made commercials for Nike or Doritos. But on October 13th, 2013, William D. Swenson, U.S. infantry officer, was awarded with the Medal of Honor for his uncommon show of courage and great show of patriotism. Let me tell you what he did, why I think he is a patriot, and the lesson we can learn from him. On September 8th, 2009, in Kunar province in Afghanistan, Captain Swenson and his combat team were traveling on foot into a village called Ganjgal to meet with the village elders. Suddenly, they were ambushed by the enemy. While under rocket-propelled grenade and machine gun fire, Captain Swenson immediately returned fire and called for air, ground, and medical support. While flanked on 3 sides by the enemy, Captain Swenson ignored all enemy radio transmissions demanding his surrender. He instead moved in to aid a wounded fellow soldier. He stopped only to throw a grenade at approaching enemy forces before moving the soldier in for air evacuation. This battle lasted 6 hours. What lesson can we learn about patriotism from Captain Swenson? I think the answer to that question is that patriotism is not about words, but action. It's good to say, "I love my country," but what can you do to prove it? Captain Swenson's first action was to sign up for the military to protect and serve his country. His next action was to perform heroic deeds beyond the call of duty. Actions we could take to show our patriotism might be to collect food for the hungry, volunteer at a shelter for the homeless, or visit veterans at the Veterans Hospital. In conclusion, the old saying, actions speak louder than words, seems fitting. Go ahead and proudly say, I love my country, but take a lesson from Medal of Honor recipient Captain William D. Swenson. Dare to take an action to express your patriotism for this great country, America. Thank you all, and have a very good day.
Good morning and welcome. I know it's a bit early, but I have a question I would like you all to consider. Do you define yourself as a patriotic citizen? How does patriotism pertain to you? When I asked myself these questions, I thought of honor, appreciation, and heroes. Patriotism is to venerate or show love to your country. Be proud to show this quality. It encourages political participation. It shows that we as Americans are beholden for the privileges we have, and it makes you strive to understand the importance of being a citizen. Voting has played an immense role in American history. People like Susan B. Anthony have proven that voting is a right worth fighting for. And when old enough, I have an opportunity to have a voice in my society. The older generation tends to hold a higher percentage of voting over the youth, who held an average of 16% at the last presidential election. Some think that this is due to the lower understanding of more complex arguments. But I believe that this is because the younger generation hasn't quite discovered the meaning behind voting, a right that not everyone in the world has. Important individuals have fought for the equal rights followed in America today. Take Rosa Parks as an example. Unequal treatment was ready to send her to the back of that bus in 1955, but she refused to move, standing up for her freedom. I have pondered over why the small act was remembered and came to the realization that it was her bravery that sparked a fight for civil rights. And that only leaves us with more reasons as to why we should pledge allegiance to this country. Patriotism is prominent in good citizenship. It involves obeying the country's laws, honoring the democratic ideals, and accepting the responsibilities of being a citizen. Learning about patriotic acts give children a compelling influence for good character. Bringing young teens to vote and talking about the candidates is another way to inform them about the way the world is today. I propose a political youth forum that brings candidates to our young and future voters and allows us, on our own free will, to form opinions and gain insight. Thus it can be seen that patriotism can encourage people to take part in politics. It shows that Americans are thankful for the freedom they have, and it helps start a positive character development. It was true heroes that made sacrifices just so we could have the life we do today, just so that we could all be sitting here together right now. I can't even imagine what the United States would be like today without patriotism and the innumerable American heroes. And this all reminds me of a quote by Abraham Lincoln. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him.
Good morning, judges, guests, and fellow contestants. My name is Justin France, and today I'm here to share with you 3 reasons why I'm proud to be an American. In my opinion, 3 of America's best qualities are its democratic government, its innovative spirit, and its generosity. America is governed by a democracy. Abraham Lincoln once said it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In other words, citizens have the right, or more importantly, the responsibility to have their voices heard. The cornerstone of our democracy was the Constitution, which was written by our founding fathers to risk life, limb, and personal fortune just to secure our freedom from the British. America's democracy has helped form our country into what it is today, and is one of the many reasons why I'm proud to be an American. Our country is home to some of the greatest innovators in the 20th and 21st century. For instance, the Wright brothers. They were the first people to take flight. They proved that with commitment and ingenuity, you can accomplish anything. I'd also like to mention the Apollo program. In 1969, they sent a man to the moon for the first time in the history of mankind. In other countries, people aren't given the same opportunities we are to use their gifts. In the future, I plan to use this freedom to my advantage by entering into the medical field. Finally, I'd like to share with you my pride in America's generosity. A recent example of this was when we sent our American troops over to Iraq just to help them form their own democracy. Now let me ask, would you have the courage to put your life at risk just to help another country's government? America also provides foreign aid to countries in need of assistance. We give millions of dollars to places such as Afghanistan, Iraq, and Israel. This is another example that makes me proud of my country. Over the years, America has instilled pride in me to be fair, innovative, and generous. It is my hope that people of my generation never lose sight of the greatness that is America. Now, I'd like to conclude by asking, why are you proud to be an American? Thank you.
Have any one of you ever wondered why America is such a great country? Well, one of the reasons America is great today is because of the free enterprise system and people who have the determination, creativity, and willpower to push America forward. You see, we are the engines of this country. We can accomplish any of our dreams, whatever they may be. Our founding fathers knew the free enterprise system would be the only way that people could freely pursue their dreams. That is what sets America apart from so many different countries in the world today. Ladies, gentlemen, and judges, my name is Luke Ashcroft, and I believe Richard Nixon stated this perfectly when he said, quote, "We must always remember that America is a great nation today, not because of what government did for people, but because of what people did for themselves and one another," end quote. The free enterprise system has made it possible for people to do anything they want, and it has made America the quote-unquote shining star. Immigrants come to America to start over, to pursue their dreams. The free enterprise system gives Americans 4 basic rights: the freedom to try, the freedom to buy, the freedom to sell, and the freedom to fail. And without our enterprise system, the world would not be where it is today. For 5,000 years, or since history has been recorded, people have been traveling around by foot or riding on horseback. Few advancements were made, but within 200 years of America being founded with a free enterprise system, huge technological advancements were made. For example, we could fly, we could harness electricity, and we were making trips to the moon. Technology literally skyrocketed because of people's ideas. And there are thousands of examples of people who had the desire to make something, find something, or make something better. For example, Steve Jobs was left on the doorstep of an orphanage in his infancy, but this didn't stop him. He had so much love for electronics at an early age that he worked in his parents' garage for a time. Now, Apple Computers, or the company he started, has changed the way people live their lives. Or George Hearst, an unsuccessful prospector during the gold rush, who didn't give up and made $91,000 in silver, making him a millionaire in today's money. Or even Andrew Carnegie, who moved to America at age 13 to start over with the rest of his family. He recognized the need for steel and slowly built his company. He later sold that steel company for over $400 million. Carnegie later used that money to build public libraries and to enhance scientific research for others. All of these people revolutionized America and made what is today a great country. Everyone in this audience, everyone has the potential to make America greater. In the end, I agree with Richard Nixon. America is great because of the people who live in it. I want you to make America greater. Thank you.